Good morning, everyone. Good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are, and welcome to this week's Weekly Energy Boost. My name is Elisheva, and I am here with David, and we are talking about cracking the soul code, how to identify patterns in chaos and what those patterns can teach us. This is a week in which a tremendous revelation of energy is taking place. By far, I think when you look at the Kabbalistic calendar, there are certain weeks of the year that stand out as revelatory, as giving us insight and exposure to subtle hints from the universe that we may not have picked up on before. And this is one of those weeks. I know that our teachers, Rav and Karen Berg, used to argue which was the more powerful week. Was it last week or this week? But in a similar vein, we're really being given the support and the opportunity this week to tap into the invisible spiritual structures that are there amid what seems like chaos, disorder, and disorganization. So we're going to understand what that means, how to tap into it and identify those structures, and hopefully have some fun as well. Weekly Energy Boost is a 7-day spiritual weather forecast where we give where we provide our listeners with the most powerful and practical tools to navigate the coming 7 days. We do that through poring over the wisdom of Kabbalah, texts like the Zohar, and finding the most powerful and practical tools to help our listeners navigate the coming 7 days, inevitably sharing wisdom tools and stories that can help you any day of the year. And I'm a big fan of, in case you can't tell by listening to every episode, big fan of Aquarius energy, that limitless breakthrough thinking, because I tend to be one of those systems thinkers, needing the structure, needing the schedule, needing the reminders and the outlines. And so when this month comes, I get excited because I know that there's going to be something I didn't realize or something I didn't acknowledge before that's going to be brought to my attention, and I'm excited and looking for it. But what ends up revealing itself is that it was always there. And I think that's one of the both annoying and powerful things about understanding this wisdom is that our souls already know it. It's really the wisdom of Kabbalah is reminding our conscious minds what our soul already knows. And so therefore, when we uncover the design beneath the disorder, it's irritating because it was really there the whole time and we just didn't see it or acknowledge it.
One of the aspects of Kabbalah that really resonates with people right away, and people realize they've known this their whole lives and even past lives, is just how much consciousness is the determining factor of our existence. And consciousness can be defined as your personal belief systems, your thoughts, the energy you put out into the world, kind of what's going on internally inside of you. What is the vibration of what's going on inside of you? Can be defined as our consciousness. And when we hear this, we immediately go, yes, that is true. To actually live it, it requires a whole retraining of who we are, because the way we're designed is not that consciousness creates reality, that what I do or what I say or who I know or how I navigate life is what's going to determine the outcome of my life. But in reality, it comes down to consciousness. And what I love about the Aquarian energy is that it is unlimited. If the creator is unlimited, our spiritual goal is to become unlimited as well. That means we need to audit our lives, take inventory of where do I feel stuck? Where do I feel limited? Where do I feel there are boundaries? And these are all accumulated belief systems from past life and this life and our parents and our ancestry about the way we think things have to be. For example, a very common one is, oh, you have to suffer to be successful. Or another belief system could be money is going to run out at any moment. So you could have a lot of wealth, but believe the money is going to run out at any moment. Or another belief system could be that relationships always end. And so why invest too much into them? So there's a lot of limitations, and we should all take note of where do I have a limited perception on receiving in my romantic life, in my social life, in my career, with my immediate family, so on and so forth. And this is the energy we can tap into. It's the unlimited energy. And part of connecting to being unlimited is first seeing where there's limitation. Where are we limited in our belief system of receiving in our lives?
It's so interesting that you say that, because I've been in my own personal journey reading different books and learning from different schools of thought. And a big part of what I guess the more evolved thinkers say these days around relationships is that in order to have a really healthy, successful, thriving relationship, you have to put the past behind you. And it's really our relationship with our past that brings the chaos into relationship.
You have some good
business.
examples of that? I mean, it resonates what you're saying. Just
sure. Very simple. A lot of people who were, let's say, raised in if their parents were very either passionate, there was a lot of drama in the house, yelling and screaming. I think I've shared this before, that I used to worry that my grandparents were fighting all the time, because in the language that they spoke, it just
always sounded like yelling.
Always sounded like yelling, and my dad would be like, "No, they're just talking about what's for dinner. Don't worry about it." But if you were raised in a very volatile environment, you may be attracted to a volatile partner because that's how you saw love expressed.
Sure.
So as a conscious human being, you don't consciously want a painful partner, a partner who's going to bring you pain and uncertainty and lower your self-worth and all those things. And yet at the same time, you doubt if there's love, if there isn't that drama, if there isn't that
You just said something powerful.
volatility.
You doubt if there's love, if there isn't volatility. I mean,
Like you have to stir up some drama to
know
feel
there's
the
love.
circuitry and energy
That's
and to
huge.
feel seen and acknowledged.
because that's probably how you were loved.
That's how you witnessed a partnership.
Wow.
So that's one of the things that is really important in between parents that are married versus parents that are divorced, but between parents that are married, to realize that the way that they show love to their partner is a way that their kids are learning love can be shown. So as my point being that if you realize that you are attracting chaos into your life by holding on to that belief that love is volatile or that love is chaotic and dramatic, you can heal that part of yourself that believes that and open yourself up to a peaceful, compassionate partner. But it's really healing the past. It's not about who you're attracting, because we know Kabbalah teaches that it's our tikkun that attracts situations and people in our lives. And this is where, again, the mental health and spiritual pathways coincide, is that your thought processes, or in Kabbalistic terms, your consciousness, is what attracts situations to you. So if you're constantly focused on healing the part of you that feels love is volatile, then you know, and you can open yourself up to a new definition of what love means, then you've received, the universe doesn't want to punish you with those volatile relationships. The universe is simply, I love the way that Louise Hay says, she says, we live in a yes universe. So you say you want a chaotic partner? Yeah, here it is. You say you want somebody who's going to validate your broken belief systems? Here's what that person. So if we start to rewrite our relationship with the past, we will also rewrite our future. And I think that the shift is that the Kabbalist says, yes, if you can dig deep and be honest and reflective about why you're attracted to this kind of partner and understand that it's not you, meaning it's you, your soul chose that, yes, but you also get to decide your relationship with that situation. And if you want to detach from it and start fresh, you can heal that part of you and have a dramatically different kind of relationship. But it's more seeing the gold inside the river, being able to sift through all the pebbles and get to that gold nugget is really what the work is.
A lot of people are asking about cord cutting, and it seems to be a popular term energetically. Kabbalah does talk a lot about it in its own language. What are your suggestions for cutting the spiritual cord with some of these past relationships that we don't want to bleed spiritually into our current relationships?
I think You mentioned it a few weeks ago, and I think the last time Daniel Noor was on the podcast, we talked about it a little bit. It's really getting to a place where not only you can look at those past situations or relationships or traumatic moments as, okay, I needed them, they were good for me, I grew from them, but literally to bless them, to the think about, for example, we can do an active workshop right now. If you think about an ex you have, it doesn't have to be an ex romantic partner, it can be an ex friend, an ex coworker. And the fact that you, when you think about them, you recall them in your memory, you have some sort of negative whiff of negativity you get, right? When you think about them, that's an indication that there's an energetic cord there. And you're being pulled to experience that negativity every time you think about them. Think about how powerful that is, by the way, that you don't have to be around them to be triggered. You only have to think about them to be triggered. And the process that I think Daniel takes people through as well in the tikkun healing stuff that he does is it really is about looking at, however they were behaving is a reflection on them, not on you. Right? They must have gone through something, been through something, hurt people, however they behaved or treated you is not a reflection of you, it's a reflection on them. And then to begin to bless them, be grateful, appreciate the role they played in your life, and dissolve that gratitude and appreciation and blessing them dissolves the energetic cord of negativity between you, that you harbor, whether on a soul level or on a cellular level, the gratitude. Because, by the way, I know a lot of people are thinking, I would not give them the pleasure of being blessed by me. They do not deserve that from me. It's not between you and them. It's between you and the Creator. It's between you and the universe. That when you look at someone like that as a negative person in your life, that was a bad relationship, you're basically telling the Creator, you made a mistake, you skipped over this one, you weren't around for this. And when we do that unconsciously, we're basically exiling the Creator from our lives. You weren't here there, you're not here now. So the gratitude, appreciation, and blessing is actually not only what changes our relationship with that person and cuts off that energetic cord, but it also creates more room within each one of us to receive more blessings and more fulfilling relationships right now and in the future.
You speak about a concept that we talk a lot about, which is acceptance of the energy. And it is written that those who are aligned with the light of the Creator are the ones who are initially accepting of what's happening and seeing the good in what's happening. Because what this does is it immediately puts you on that same level and that same frequency. And from that place, you can make change. From that place, you can create the life that you want. And it's very much like similar to diplomacy in this physical world. Who are diplomats? They're not combative people. They are the people that help countries digress from being on the brink of war, because what they do is they establish relationships that are dignified, that are on the same level. Hey, listen, I feel your pain. I understand your situation. Here's our situation. We're on the same level. Let's come up with a solution. This is what diplomacy is all about. Can you be diplomatic with the Creator? When a challenge occurs, can you say, hey, I get it. I may not fully understand it, but I get that it's coming from a good place. Put yourself on that same vibration as whatever the Creator is doing. And then from that place, the solutions will be revealed. We're not saying that a bad situation should just stay bad. We're saying that in a bad, difficult, painful situation, which we all want to change, the fastest way to change it is to accept it, is to rise to the occasion, even if every part of your body and ego is fighting. No, I don't like this. I'm not going to accept it. How do you force it? How do you fake it? How do you energetically overwhelm your ego in order to align yourself with the light of the Creator? And then the messages will be revealed. And then that's how you get out of the pain. It's so hard because when we're going through it, all we want to do is get out of it, right? But what is it? What's the term? If God brought you to it, God will take you through it. Have you heard this one?
No, I love that.
I heard it recently, and I thought it
bumper
was great.
sticker. That's great.
Yeah. So that's the idea. And while it's a cute term, the spiritual understanding of it is, if the Creator brought you to it, and He'll get you through it, means that energy vibration is always the same, before, during, and after. Rise to that energy. That energy is, I know it's for the good. I accept it even though my body doesn't want to. And as a result, the messages will come.
I think that one of the challenges that comes up in those moments where you're experiencing a reality that you don't want is that you're so in the midst of it, you can't see what's really going on. I think that for all of us, and again, it has to do with how we were raised and what the way that the soul chose the setup of coming into the world. But at the same time, in a universal way, it really helps, or I should speak from experience, it really helps me to step back from the situation and observe it with curiosity, almost like I'm watching a TV show and I wonder what's going to happen in the next episode, right? Why would the writer put this in the storyline? What good is this situation doing for the character? Like, really removing myself so far from being an active participant and looking at it with detached curiosity, not vested curiosity, like, why is this happening to me? But really from an observer point of view, to be able to say, this is interesting. I wouldn't have picked this. I wouldn't have chosen it. I wouldn't have written this into the script. What could the writers be thinking with this plot twist? Where is this going to take our hero? And from there, to be able to remove, you made the point before, David, when I can hear you saying it, that, when you're telling somebody about something that happened to you, there's that danger that it's going to be evil speech. Mm-hmm. But if you can just be factual about it and not embellish with emotion, it isn't. It's there. It's part of the growth process. We do the same thing with ourselves. We have so much emotion and so much past history tied into whatever challenge we're facing that we let it cause us this kind of amnesia. I forget everything I know. Spirituality gets thrown out the window. This can't be good. I'm being punished. Even though we know that there's no such thing, we revert to this old pattern of thinking. And if we can remove the detached curiosity bit, helps to remove the previous experiences, the old situations. Now, of course, when you're watching a TV show and you see a familiar plotline, you'd be like, oh, like this is exactly what happened in that show also. Maybe, but then you can also go back and say, okay, well, what didn't work? When I saw that scene before, how did the character make things worse? And if I were that character, how would I make it better? And sometimes it does help to talk it over with somebody, right? To talk it out and to see what's in your blind spot and what you're not seeing. But usually what we would call chaos or disorder is simply chaotic because we're bringing in elements that are not actually a part of the story. And of course, growing up in Los Angeles, the Hollywood metaphor is really strong. So
what is that?
I'm saying, imagining you're watching it on TV and asking why the plot twist would be there.
Right.
It's a very...
We accept the plot twist because we know it's going to end up good.
Right. And you do when you're, I mean, I was watching, I don't want to give it away in case people haven't seen it, but I was watching a show, and at the end of the second episode, a character gets killed off. And my thought really was, now, I mean, you can see I'm a Kabbalah teacher, what good can come out of this? And I was crying, of course, and really angry at the writers. But my first thought was, what good is this leading to, in an angry, upset way? Sure. But it was there. And knowing that I'm going to love it at the end.
You know that something satisfying will emerge.
Yes. And I'm starting to see it now in episode 4 and 5. But it's that training ourselves to approach our own challenges and struggles with the same way that we can stay an detached observer when we're watching a TV show or a movie. It really is a gift.
I love that. So what's a takeaway for everyone for this week for this month, we talked about unlimited belief systems. We talked about now is the time. What I like to do, as I always share, is just spend time alone to walk. It can be in nature. It can be in the streets. It can be looking at the sky, whatever's a comfortable environment for you. And just, I always ask the Creator, where can I be more unlimited? Where can I shed some of the energies that are causing me to think in a limited way? Or it's actually blocking me, because we know that the Creator wants to share more than we want to even receive. So there is no lack of energy. The energy is there pressuring to get in. We just haven't accepted it. Now, we don't know that. We think we're sitting here all open to all the miracles, like we're like with open arms, but technically we are pushing it away. We are subconsciously pushing it away. A belief system will determine whether you push something away or bring it to you. And because we're not conscious of it, and you can't use your ego to fight your ego, prayer bypasses all of that. And prayer is simply talking out loud to the Creator in whatever language, in whoever your Creator is, and basically saying, I'm open. I'm open to seeing what I cannot see. I'm open to letting go of negative energy I don't know about. I'm open to being like you. But I have a request and a desire to help me get there. And then you accelerate the process.
Let me ask you a question. Something I think that everyone is thinking as they're listening to this, like, you know, what you said, fair, cool, I get it, nice. I'm going to use it the next time I'm struggling. But if we're paying any attention, we'll see in our own lives, and going back to the Hollywood story, there's often patterns in our challenges, recurring themes, if you will. How do you interrupt those patterns? I'm always in this kind of relationship. I'm always with these kind of friends. I'm always the sibling that gets the, right? Our life is full of patterns.
Right. The patterns, if I see a pattern in my life, I ask myself a question. I say, why do I like this?
Why do I like this? Even though it may be a pattern that you don't like.
Because something you truly do not like, or something that your body truly understands as a viral enemy, it will attack. It will get rid of. We embrace things that subconsciously we like, we benefit from. Kind of like what you said about relationships. If we grew up believing that love means drama, so we will always create drama in order to experience love. Because we like that, we've accustomed ourselves to like that. So what it comes down to is what part of this do I like? Not what part of this do I not like. Like
we all know what we don't want.
Right. We all know that. I'm sure you can think of the 90% of the reason why you don't like it, but there's 10% that you do like it, and that 10% is strong enough for you to hold on to it, to subconsciously draw it into your life,
and to
find ways to and to replicate it. That's right. So why do I like it? Now, once you can acknowledge why you like it, then you can ask yourself if it's worth it.
What's an example of something that a pattern, and why you like it?
People who are always dating, but they can't be in a committed relationship.
Okay, that's a good one.
And they'll always tell you they're just, the LA scene is a bad dating scene, or I'm done with the apps. You hear this stuff all the time. Mm-hmm. But what if 10% of them just kind of likes having the muffin top without the muffin, right? Kind of likes likes having a man or a woman fawn all over them, and for a couple of dates, and then the novelty wears off and you want something new, right? There's that part of it that you like, as opposed to being committed to one person for 100 years, right? You ask them, are you excited to be committed to someone over 100 years? Like, they make a face. So that means that there's a part of them that likes the newness of the dating scene. Now, they may be exhausted by it. They may feel depleted and they feel like it's a total time suck. But that doesn't mean that there isn't a part of it that they enjoy. So just acknowledge, what part of it do you enjoy? Maybe you just like going out, meeting new people all the time.
Yeah, it requires a lot of honesty, and it's annoying. It's annoying I'm sure there's a lot of people who just heard what you said and they're like, oh, God.
Yeah, and what I've noticed is people are just way more open than ever before. As soon as they hear, like, all right, well, that's true. Okay, let's ask the question. I've noticed more people today, it's less that they have resistance. It's more that there's so much noise out there that they kind of just need somebody to remind them, hey, this is what you got to be doing right now. And they'll do it when you tell them. It's just that the next day the noise takes over and they're doing other things. Everyone's just so busy.
And then you fall into the same loop again because you're not paying enough attention.
Because not paying enough attention. So I do realize the benefit of giving people a lot of spiritual touch points to remind them. It's just what it is. It's like you tell your kid to do something, it might do it, but the next day he's not going to want to do it anymore. You have to constantly remind them of what needs to be done. Like they're in shock every night when they realize they have to clear the table. Like, all right, clear the table. Like, oh, again? Like when did it change that this is not something you do every day? Right? So they need to be reminded over and over again the benefit of it and why we're doing it, and I'm doing it too, and we're doing it together. So they're like, okay. But you have to, it's like they're resetting the clock every day.
Yeah. That's actually a great way to put it, that every day, and that's one of the gifts of having, first of all, the spiritual study, that you have those constant reminders, but I think also creating for yourself a daily spiritual practice.
Where the creator can talk to you. That's the way I look at it. The reason why I might listen to a spiritual podcast, is not because I'm learning from the podcast, but I'm creating an opening for the creator to talk to me through the podcast for that day. It could even be the same podcast I heard yesterday.
I can't even believe you're saying that. That is so funny. As I was coming over here, I hit play on my Spotify app, and it went back to the same place I started listening to yesterday. And I already finished two more episodes. I listen on double speed, by the way.
I know.
So I was like, I heard this already. And I was like, no. Obviously I didn't hear it already. Tell me what I need to hear. And it's so funny because it was literally like an hour ago.
Right?
But I said, I'm not even going to bother changing it because I know, even though I know exactly what's going to be said next, there's something here I need to hear, and I can't wait to find it.
Same podcast, different channel.
But that's the key.
Yeah.
Maybe we need to change the title of the episode to that, changing the channel. Because if you're experiencing something chaotic right now, all you need to do is change the channel to see the purpose of it and to see how to navigate it or circumnavigate it so that it stops being a pattern and you get the gift that you're meant to get from it.
Beautiful.
Weekly Energy Boost is available on all podcast platforms. You can follow us on Instagram and Facebook to receive more content on every episode. We also have a website, weeklyenergyboost.com, where the top link will take you to the list of all of the courses that we have starting in 2024, so that if you are ready to start your journey or to restart your journey with Kabbalah, you can do that. We just started a global Kabbalah one last week. You can still join it, get the first recording, and jump right in. But literally every center, every language, we have a course starting soon. We'd love for you to join us. You can also click the donate button at weeklyenergyboost.com and support our podcast. And as always, continue to rate, review, and share this episode with as many people as you both care about and maybe even don't care about. And see what happens when you share it with the people you don't care about. Have a fabulous week, and we'll see you next time on the Weekly Energy Boost.